about slowing down speech. Should we slow down our speech when communicating with someone? It's a very common question. And by the way, some centers, some specialists who claim to help with stuttering strongly recommend speaking like this for a long time, supposedly getting rid of stuttering by stretching all the words, especially the vowels. You just take it and stretch it like this. In this way, you can speak effectively without stuttering. Yes, it really does seem to be true. But again, it's a double-edged truth. On one hand, you speak without stuttering, without physical stuttering, without tension. But on the other hand, you can't call it normal speech. And for sure, you can't call it comfortable, natural, and pleasant to the human ear. Yes, on the surface it feels like with this kind of speed you can avoid stuttering. Yeah, but you wouldn't talk like this to people on the street or anywhere else. With a friend, with mom, with dad in the store, or perhaps with your neighbor, like, hello, how are you doing? Hello, give me a loaf of that wonderful sausage and a piece of butter. That would be strange, to say the least. That is, they can give you to be considered a mentally challenged person, like there's something wrong with you, right? Or as someone who's just trying to be funny, but it turns out to be some kind of bad joke. But there's some truth to that. It's some kind of bad joke, it turns out. But there's a grain of truth in this. Rationalism is present when we speak like this. We can really avoid stuttering in any situation. They understand that this tempo can be used to avoid stuttering. But on the other hand, you understand that this tempo can be used with a teacher, with a tutor, with a partner to practice speech. But this tempo is just beyond his control. He won't be able to use it when communicating with anyone. Yeah, really with anyone. At most, I don't know, maybe with mom or dad, if he talks like this. But first of all, you won't want to talk because it will feel unnatural and uncomfortable. This will raise a lot of questions, and your parents, even if they were to listen to such speech, it will sound very jarring, not in a good way, and they will think more about it. It's not your speech. It's not about what you want to tell about how pathetic you are in such situations. You can't really call it anything else but pathetic, right? Because if you say, "Hi mom, I got these grades at school today. Look at them, please." Poor mom understands that the speech therapist told the child to, like, get rid of stuttering. Yeah, but he said to stick to that kind of speech until the stuttering supposedly goes away. But again, it's a double-edged situation. You can talk to your mom, but for that same child it will be really hard to speak. So, with classmates, yeah. With group mates. Especially for an adult. So, well, it's just an unacceptable luxury, so to speak. Yeah, it will be without stuttering, but it won't be the same. He might get stuck because of this, because he will understand, and he might even get stuck like this here. Slow speech, so he might just get stuck like that. And nothing good will come of it. So on one hand, it's a tool to show a person that at a certain pace, in a slowed down manner, they might not stutter. And that means, again, Hejas, there is literally nothing in my head. Physiological disorders. He's just like everyone else. He can speak sounds without stuttering. He can sing normally. He can indeed speak very clearly, extremely distinctly, and with emphasis, just at a very slow pace like that. Yeah. And problems arise when he starts to rush or speed up the slowed down pace. That already says a lot. At the very least, this means that stuttering is not an illness, but rather a misunderstanding. It's a speech skill that can and should be worked on. You have to constantly use this slow tempo in order to avoid stuttering. It's just impossible. It's impossible because at the very least you wouldn't want your conversation partners to listen to that kind of pace, since they will label you in certain ways. They will have a clear expression on their face, which will say that, "What are you even doing? What is this? Where speech is better off?" Some might think that, and they would be right. It's better to stutter than to speak like this without stuttering. I think all stutterers have already understood me. But despite the fact that such a speech pace cannot be used in principle when providing information to stutterers, it can indeed be quite effective as a tool. At some intermediate stage in one educational program, which is aimed at eliminating stuttering and getting rid of this problem, the main thing to understand is that getting used to this kind of slowed pace for a long time won't promise you anything good. At most, you'll learn to speak without physical stuttering. This kind of slowed pace, with a teacher, with an instructor, with a mentor for overcoming stuttering. But this will only be the tip of the iceberg. This will only be a demonstration that you are not sick, that you can speak without stuttering. But for now, at this stage, you need a slowed speech. Demonstrating such abilities is also good, especially as a kind of element of an intermediate stage. I started working on overcoming stuttering.